Hi, John Clements, and I'm here in my favorite place in the garden, the Dickinson Family Educational Conservatory, and I'm with some of my favorite orchids. First time I ever ran into orchids, I was about 6 years old. My grandfather had a ranch in the Santa Monica Mountains, and we'd go up most weekends from San Diego, and he had a neighbor who I didn't know who in the world this guy was. He was kind of a cowboy, had horses, but apparently he was a very famous cowboy in the movies. And if you've ever seen the movie Shane, well, the actor that was in that movie was my granddad's neighbor up at the ranch. So Alan Ladd was the neighbor, and when I was about 6, my granddad takes me over and he said, "Johnny, you gotta come and look at these plants that the neighbor has in this glass greenhouse." It was a cold November day. It was freezing, it was rainy, and we walked into a space much like this space. Wonder why I love it so much? And I fell in love. It was my first love in my life. It was big and beautiful. She smelled great, and she had a big, pouty lip, and it was one of these orchids. The cattleyas, the BLCs, the Brassolalia cattleyas, are among the best orchids you can have. And they're famous in the sense that they made orchids what I think we all think of as orchids, are those big, purple, beautiful, fragrant corsage flowers. Ask your grandma when she went to a prom if she had one of these cattleyas splayed across her chest, and sometimes hung upside down, sometimes 2 or 3, but you'll see pictures of these big, big cattleyas. Well, these are the orchids everybody thought of in the 40s and the 50s, what orchids were. And they still have my heart. I love these things. And what's really fun is if you're an orchid breeder, which I did about 40 years ago, what if you took this orchid and then this orchid back here? This is 𝘉𝘳𝘢𝘴𝘴𝘰𝘭𢢢𝘺𝘭, and what if you bred those together? You know what you end up with? Flowers that are smaller than these big purple cats here, but with heads of flowers like that. And so that gave us hybrids like 𝘉𝘄𝑚 𝘉𝘄𝑚 𝘉𝑒𝑐𝑎𝑛𝑛𝑎𝑠𝑎𝑟𝑜, maybe are some of maybe my favorite orchids in the whole world. If I had one orchid, I'd probably make it a 𝘉𝘄𝑚. But I digress. Come and smell these orchids all through the month of April. You will love it. And every week, the plants change out. So if they're not at their peak perfection, we'll bring in new ones. So you will have a ball. So come visit the Dickinson Family Educational Conservatory all during the month of April.